What's up, guys? This is Automatic Jack. I'm coming to you with a slightly different video today. We're only a couple days from the end of the season, so I'm pretty much just going to leave my rank where it's at. Don't want to risk dipping down into Mars with all the end of season chaos and losing out on my red crate. So I will be back with more ranked Ruinstorm in the new year. For right now, I am trying out a new deck that I've put together. It is a Blood Angels Sanguinius deck, so I will show it to you first off. What we've got here, I collected a lot of the crates for Ruinstorm. A lot of the Maelstrom crates, those came with Blood Angels and White Scars as well. So I managed to get a pretty decent Blood Angels collection together. As you can see in here, I've got a hell of a lot of legendaries. So the way I've got this set up right now, and I would love feedback. I would love feedback. If you have anything that you would like to suggest taking out, putting in, I would love to see it. Right now, the only limitation I've got, I do not have another Eli Janus. He is my one and only copy of this troop, unfortunately. So when he shows up in the shop, I'll be buying another one of him. Otherwise, what I'm running here, I've got my escape vents. I use those on drop pod troops like Moritat Tiberel to keep those on the board to get their drop effect. Also good on the Medita squad as we'll get there. Got Divinitatis in for some draw. Got my Clematis squads just to put early threat on the board. It's at absolute worst, it's a 2-2 for 2 that takes another hit to get off the board. I think that early pressure with Sanguinius is good. Sanguinius can put on a lot of power. The fact that he buffs troops next to him makes the Clematis a little more dangerous when it survives, even as a 2-2. It can become a 3-2 when Sanguinius attacks. Got the Melorus squad because I have tons of drop pod in this deck. 2-3 for 2 is decent to begin with, and that effect of just giving extra hit points to the drop pod early on without needing to play a Hermia is a really strong effect in my opinion. It can keep those drop pods alive and get one of those drop pod effects out. Got Medita squad. These are obviously a phenomenal troop. Any troop that creates more of itself. It's why Cumblight bikes on the White Scars are so abusive right now. Matidus is a really fantastic squad. If you can get it to land, you just get another one. And it's a 4-3 for 3, so it's going to do some serious hurting. Could be a 5-3 for 3 after Sanguinius attacks. Hermia, kind of an auto-include in the drop pod decks. Not sure about running 2 with them, but I ran 2 for the consistency, because even getting 1 Hermia out is really, really good. The difference between a 2 hit point drop pod and a 3 hit point drop pod is more than just the 1 hit point would suggest. That means that most warlords can't pop it by themselves, and he's going to have to devote other troops, other actions to hitting those drop pods. Got my Amica squads just for more drop. It's pretty annoying to put it out there. Like when you throw down that 3-3, you know, it is unstoppable, so it can get around his front lines, and more than that, it can toss out those extra little pings of damage sometimes. You never know. Balefire I keep around to have both a flanker and for the extra utility of the cleave. He could be a 3 damage plus 1 cleave when Sanguinius attacks, and he synergizes quite well with another card that we're going to see in a bit here. So I keep a Prophecy Revealed for the draw. It is just an upgraded Informant Network. It is literally the same thing as Informant Network, except it also gives you draw a card for every enemy you kill, which is huge. I mean, that is huge. That's just an absolutely enormous benefit. Much better card. In fact, to the point where I wonder if it ought to be 4 cost, because it is just so good. But I don't want to give Everguild any ideas that might come back and bite me in the ass. So Eli Janus here. We love our Eli Janus. Another drop pod troop who stuns warlords if he lands. This is a phenomenal card if you can get him down. He does not survive in his drop pod very often. He's usually a removal target. He is also a 5 damage, possibly 6 damage sneak attack, which is pretty crushing. Furvius I've got for a little more draw. He goes pretty well with the Balefires, the flankers. He goes pretty well with anything, you know, if something's going to die, throw a Furvius down next to it, draw some cards. Hey, free extra cards. And in theory, this flank ability that he has, if he stays on the board, that can get a drop pod troop landed in 1 turn. If you flank a drop pod troop and then you use it to attack, it lands its drop pod and then attacks. So you get the drop pod landing bonus from that. So Furvious Command is quite a good card, I think. I'm debating on 2 of them. I think 1 is probably where I'm at right now. Angel's Tears, best Requiem card in the Blood Angels set, in my opinion. That 3 damage to a random enemy anytime something dies next to him is huge. He's got a huge deal 5 damage for 3. He's pretty sticky with 5. I mean, he's a big old troop. Mortat is our first legendary that we're looking at outside of the Warlord. He will destroy the highest attack troop when he lands. He is more just a threat. He is a big removal threat. And, you know, when he lands, he's a 6/5 body. So even if they get his drop pod, still got a 6/5 to contend with at the 5 energy turn. That's a decent amount of attack. And if he's going to die anyway on the next turn, you can throw in some Requiem, throw in an Angel's Tears, throw in a Furvious Command, and then get that Requiem out of slamming Mortat into something really big. Kill that really big thing, get the Requiem effect. Blade and Encarmine, kind of an auto-include for Sanguinius. He gets buffed every time, or he buffs his troops, rather. He buffs the troops next to him every time he attacks. So the fact that he can attack twice just buffs him twice. Gets Requiem bonuses if for some reason, you know, you're killing off something next to him before he's attacking. You know, if you've got Sanguinius, something, and an Angel's Tears, if you can kill that something, triggers Requiem on Sanguinius, triggers the Requiem on the Angel's Tears, Sanguinius attacks twice, and then the Angel Tears attacks with +2 damage. So you get some real serious damage out of Blade and Carmine. Very, very good Sanguinius card. Parada Veterans, I'm not really sure about. I put these guys in because I wanted more drop pods, and I don't know if they are a particularly good drop pod troop. 5 is a fair amount. By the time that we're getting up there into the energy, it might be better to put out several smaller things. So I'm looking at maybe dropping the Parada Veterans and replacing them with either more fast attack troops to trigger more Requiems, or more low-cost drop pod troops, if indeed I have any. Spear of Telesto, maybe the best hard removal in the game. 6 for a hard removal is not that expensive to begin with. It's only 1 more than Outflank for the Sons of Horus, and any friendly Astartes that dies, and all of my troops are Astartes, except for the Balefires, which are vehicles. Any friendly Astartes that dies, this thing comes down in cost. So it's potentially by, you know, if you draw this early, a lot of times when you draw hard removal early, if I draw my War Master's Deceit on my Ruinstorm deck, if I draw that at the beginning of the game, that is going to sit in my hand for 5 turns. Spear of Telesto might sit in my hand for 5 turns also, but by the time that happens, it might cost 2. And 2 for a guaranteed hard removal on anything that's not warded or stealthed is really, 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 really good. Really good. This can save your butt against some giant frontline troops. It can save your butt against some giant relentless troops that keep doing things, like those things with huge health that keep pumping out damage or keep destroying troops. You can just knock it right off the board for a couple energy. Sanguinary Guard, another amazing legendary. Blood Angels have some very good legendaries. Sanguinary Guard, the combo of flank for strike and unstoppable is brutal. It's brutal. It's just, it's close to hard removal that also leaves a 7/6 body on the board for 7 energy. It is obviously not hard removal in the sense that there are still things that, you know, can be not affected by it. But if he's got a big warded troop up, if it's a Space Wolf with 5 health or something and ward, Sanguinary Guard comes in, wipes it off the board, and Sanguinary Guard is still on the board, and your opponent has a 7/6 to worry about. Host of Angels is pretty well known. It is a nasty endgame tactic. Drops 3 of those Clenata squads in play. Clenata squads give the +2/+1, so they become 4/3s when they land. And with 3 of them coming down later in the game, when you probably played a Hernia, or you've probably got a Hermia. I always call the Hermias Hernias. It's just how it is. You've probably played a Hermia. Maybe you've played 2. Maybe you've got a Melorus squad on the board. You put down a Host of Angels with like 4 health on the drop pod. probably 2 of them are going to land, and that's 2 4/3s coming out in the same turn with maybe a 2/2 as well, with hopefully, you know, the Blade and Carmine out by that time. That is a lot. That is a lot to deal with. So these Host Angels, especially back to back, you know, if you have 2 of these in your hand, you play it turn 6 and then turn 7. Woof. That's a lot of Blood Angels to deal with, and it's charging up your Spear of Telesto, and it's giving you more guys to buff with Blade and Carmine. It's brutal. And then lastly, we've got our Crimson Spectre here. This is a nice endgame reversal tactic. After he's kind of spent what he's got, you know, he's got some wounded troops on the board. He's hit you really hard. You're down on health a little bit. Maybe you're, you know, 6, 7, 8 points behind on health, but he's got some wounded troops on the board. You just drop that 4 damage to everybody all across the board. It only costs 3 more energy than a DSATS, and it does guaranteed 4 damage to everybody. Gets all that damage out there, and then on top of that might heal you for 2 or 4 or 6. So you can get some good damage with that. All right, so let's take a look at how this deck actually plays. Like now that I've talked this up, let's take a look in practice and see how Sanguinius actually does matched against some other troops. This is a pretty aggro deck. Oh, and speaking of aggro decks, we go right into our boy Kharn right off the bat. This is going to be a really hard one. Kharn is a tough matchup. Kharn is one of the top warlords in the game right now. Kharn, especially for players who are kind of in my position, you know, people who have a decent collection, kind of know what they're doing, but are not like really finely tuned, really have every single card, really have, you know, perfect knowledge.
Righteous wings.
Kharn is tough. Kharn is tough. So we want to start whacking Kharn because we got to get his health down. We got to hope to God that he pings himself. He's just gonna be whacking us. He's just gonna be whacking and whacking. Look at this shit. Excuse my language. Sorry, I shouldn't be swearing at the cards. It's not Kharn's fault. He's just doing his thing. All right, now the question here is, do we go right off the bat for an escape vent into this? And it's possible he could ping it twice. Otherwise, he's probably just gonna hit it. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens because I would love to get that 4/3 out and hit him, make it a 5. We got to drop his health. The only way that you can play against Kharn, as far as I know, is either to have so much front line that you manage to stop him, or manage to somehow out aggro him, because he does have a slightly lower health pool. But you can see he's already, I mean, we started with 5 health more than he has, and he is already knocking us down on health. So that is not great. So we're going to take out his boy, and then we're going to smash him in the face. We just have to do what we can, but a lot of our deck is kind of mid-end game rated. Our battleship, our 8-cost card is not going to do any. Yes, that's right, Kharn. Battleship is not going to do any good because he's not going to play any troops. So we're not going to be able to heal ourselves because there will be no troops. Such is life. Spear of Telesto, also going to be basically a dead card. Got nothing for us there. We just once again got to hope to God that he can get some self pings out here. Now this we can see actually gave him a little pause. He had to think about it. He had to go ahead and do that. And now he's thinking, should I hit this in the face or should I gamble? Oh, and he hits it in the face. All right. Hits it in the face. Props to Kharn for the balls. That was probably good. We wouldn't ordinarily prophecy revealed him here, but I mean it's what we kind of have to do. And we're at a point here where if he pings himself badly, he could lose. He could lose. Ah, now see, this stops him. This stops him from the hit, and the best he can do is draw, it looks like. Oh no, he has the crack grenade. Okay, well, good for him. That's once again, Kharn is a very, very tough opponent. I don't have many decks that do very well against Kharn. All right, well, rip to Sanguinius, taking on the Kharn. Let's see how number 2 goes. Alright, so we got a Thaddeus Fayle coming up. Fayle starts with more energy. And a lot of Fayle decks I've seen...
We fly on righteous wings.
You chose the wrong side.
A lot of Fayle decks I've seen have also a like reduce energy type cards for the enemy. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not gonna start with the Melorus squad. I'm gonna start keeping that in the hand. That might be a mistake, because if we do come out with a Clonatus or a Matadus next time, then we're gonna wish that we had played that. But we'll see. But he usually starts pretty slow, so we'll see. There's the escape vent. Okay, well, we've waited long enough. We need some troops on the board. I'm not going to stealth that. I'm going to save stealth. But if he decides not to take it out, he's probably got, he's probably got some kind of removal. It's alright. It draws out some removal that probably would have been otherwise used on a drop pod or something. We're not drawing too great. We're not having a lot of luck with our draws. Okay, well here we have a decent option. We can Tiberel into stealth, and we can always just, because Sanguinius is unstoppable. Sanguinius has the worst warlord power in the entire game. Reveal a random card in the enemy hand. Alright, it is just garbage. There are so few circumstances where you would ever use that. But to make up for it, Sanguinius is unstoppable. And that makes Sanguinius pretty chunktastic. What is he going to play this on? Sanguinius can just jump over front lines. Okay, he knows this is gonna die, so he does the correct thing and hits me there. Boom. Now, we do have the option here. We can Prophecy Revealed and get some cards. Excuse me, that is quite good. And we are going to. Prophecy Revealed. Get some extra cards back. Very nice. Going to take this off the board. And once again, I think we're going to Melorus here because hopefully his removal is going to be focused on getting Tiberel off the board. And if he does that and leaves the Melorus, then we're going to be able to drop 2 big drop pod boys into his, or with +1 to the drop pods. So we'll have a little more oomph, which will be good for us. Okay, so he's probably, yeah, he's going to flank Tiberel off the board, I would assume. I would have to assume. Yeah, okay. Okay, so the Host of Angels is really the answer. 3 drop pods. 3 drop pods, that is pretty brutal. The other alternative here is the Parada Veterans and the Clonatus and save the Host of Angels. I think we just Host of Angels. When you can get a Host of Angels with extra, you're going to want to do it. And we're going to save the Melorus squad. We're not going to attack with them. His front line, unfortunately for him, does very little. His front line does very, very little. It's not awful, but it's not great. Best he can do here is pop. Okay, so he's gonna pop the Melorus squad, which probably wise. He wants that off the board bad, but that does not even do enough for him. And he's got his Discipline Master here, which can get him his front line. We come out with our Blade and Encarmine though, so we're gonna take that Blade and Encarmine faux show. And we're also going to drop an Amicus squad just to keep the pressure, because that is just more on the board. We will... yeah, it doesn't actually matter here, does it? Okay, so what we're going to do here... So, Blood Angels are tricky, because you got to pay attention to which troops you're attacking with when. So, we want to attack this guy with that. We want to attack twice here. And then... we want to go for his face with those. So we get the extra 2 damage out of Blade and Carmine. Or because the second attack buffs up each one of these guys. So if we had attacked with one of these, this guy would have ended up doing a lot less damage. Okay, he can jam that if he wants. It doesn't do any good for him. There he goes. Troop decks like that, troop decks that go fairly slow, are not going to win against a Blood Angels deck that is just dropping troops all over the place, buffing up the Warlord, buffing up the troops with the Warlord, just getting everything you need. What is our challenge today? Damage with tactics. Well, we're probably going to need our big battleship to have any kind of luck with that, because we don't have a lot of damaging tactics in this deck. Alright. Coming out here against one of the Shattered Legions. Still not sure about Pirata Veterans. Don't know how to feel about them. We're going to keep the Balefire for some early whacks. We would absolutely love, to see a Hermian.
I need your supplies.
My foresight failed me.
Alright, we're getting those up. That counterattack works great for Raldoron, where you can knock off one of these little guys with Raldoron. He is... it's still pretty good with Sanguinius, though, because it just gives you a little more damage with him. Balefire doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot for us right here. We don't hate it, but it doesn't do a lot. He can return friendly troops to hand, so if he has rally troops in there, he can do some stuff with them. But we're just going to keep up the pressure. You'd think, yeah, you're throwing away a Matida squad. You know, you're not going to get him back. He's definitely going to kill the drop pod. That's okay. It's going to get a 4-3 on the board. And... going to do it in such a way that he... positioning is everything here. We're going to do it in such a way that he is over on this side. So we will hit him, buff these boys, and we'll leave that other one on the board to just do that again next turn if he decides not to kill it. Gives him one more thing to worry about. So we ate some removal. We weren't going to play a tactic next turn regardless. But now, unfortunately, we do not have very many good cards to play. We are going to play the Balefire, even though it's not great here, just because our deck relies on getting lots of cards on the board. Putting pressure on consistently, hitting over and over and over. Unfortunately, Balefire is a flanker and not a fast, so we can't just go to the face with him. If Balefire was a fast, it would be absolutely abusive. Gets a precogged boy up there on the board. So, probably want to do a little more troop dropping. Pirata Veterans is a better example up here. He can hit that with his 5-5, but you could probably hit it with the 5-5 and then return the 5-5. But it is what it is. You know, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for the greater good of the Blood Angels. And if he manages to not kill off everything here, then we got a Balefire that we can use to activate the Angel's Tears for our next time, which will be good. That's one of the strengths of the Blood Angels. Those scary drop pods. Ooh, nasty. Okay, see, that's not good. That's not good. This is going pretty well for him right now. He manages to put that back in his hand, and we get a host of angels. So we're not doing great with this. Yeah, this is not looking too good for the good guys. The good guys obviously being the Blood Angels, even though, I mean, I suppose old Kirine here is probably a good guy as well. Don't have enough energy to play a whole heck of a lot. Just going to... I don't really want to waste an Angel's Tears, but I kind of have to because I need bodies on the board. And it is a threatening card. It's a threatening card. It gives him something he's got to think about. Oh, I'm facing Blood Angel 158 here, so he maybe knows his Blood Angels pretty well. Gets his 5/5 back out there. There it is. Alright. We are charging up our Reckoning. We're getting our Reckoning up. So Crimson Spectre's available now, which is nice, because Crimson Spectre, if this guy gets wounded, which is going to be tough, if this guy manages to get wounded, then he is going to be vulnerable to a Crimson Spectre, and this guy is going to sit on the board in the meantime. Norn will just sit there waiting on Crimson Spectre to come and harvest him up for 2 health. So we're still in the game. We're doing okay, and if he kills off all 3 of these, that takes our Reckoning down to 11. If he kills off the next 3, that will take it down to 8. And our Reckoning makes us strong, especially when we have when we get that Blade Encarmine up. Oh, he actually goes out and hits that. Now the question is he going to... Okay, so he's just going to tear that. Yep, tear that off. But he still has 8 energy to work with. Oh, and our drop pod eats the damage. Eats the damage, yikes. Okay, making our tactics pretty expensive. Don't love that. Don't love that. 7, 9. So we can't get our Melorus and both of our drop potters out. That is très unfortunate. But we can kill that Terror Troop. So in the meantime, we'll get our Melorus squad up. We will take our... Will we take Eli Janus, or we'll take... No, I think we'll take our Madness squad again here. And we're going to have to take a lot of damage to the face here. But it's kind of worth it to take this big boy off the board. We have not had a lot of luck drawing Hermias. This is our 3rd game where we have not drawn a single Hermia. This is why I run 2 Hermias generally, because when you run 1, you just don't draw any at all. Hermia is a very, very good card early in the game. I played so many drop pods right now that if I get a Hermia, it's not going to be anywhere near as valuable. Okay, so he gets his Corax up. He opens up his Madness squad. And he decides to kill off the Melorus. Okay. This is actually okay. This is okay, because we're just gonna... We can, Actually, we can actually get a little more damage out of this by doing it like this. So we'll hit 4 there. We'll hit 5 to his face. And we'll Spectre him. And now he basically has to heal himself, because Frontline is not going to save him. So he has to heal, shield himself, or stealth himself. Or do 25 damage to me, which would be difficult.
Counting bullets is easier than counting friends.
Alright, so Sango takes out another one. Doing pretty okay with our Sanguinius deck here. I think it needs a little more tuning, and then it may be ready for some rank battle. But again, I would love to hear suggestions. Guys, I really appreciate the engagement with this channel. When I started this off, I figured that... Excuse me. When I started this off, I figured I was only going to get 2, 3, 4 views per video. A couple of my videos actually have gotten to about like 100 views. That is awesome. That is awesome. That makes me feel great. I really appreciate it.
We fly.
So this game has a good community. I enjoy the hell out of this game. So it is super fun to see other people getting interested, hopefully. If you have started playing this game recently, drop a comment, tell me what you're playing. Tell me if there's anything you want to see. I've got warlords across a variety of decks. I don't really have too many different ones out there. God, we are drawn like crap. Sanguinius is a face smasher. He has got to get in there and smash. Oh, this guy is quite highly rated. I have a pretty mortal fear of anybody who's at 3,000 plus on their ranking. Ah, Furvious Command. Okay, so Furvious Command here. This is good. This is good. We like this. Furvious Command can come on in here. It doesn't matter as much where we'll put him there, because we're going to sack that into that, and we'll just take our free card. Now, unfortunately, what we really need is a drop pod troop. Well, no longer, because Furvious dies the death that so many of our sons die. We could have used this Parada Veterans earlier, but as you can see, we're cranking him down. I mean, we're rolling on against him. I think his quest is to trigger Survivor. Or no, start your turn with an Imperial Army. Really? That's the Salamander's quest? That's a strange quest. Okay, that was not what I was expecting. That was not at all what I was expecting. Alright, and I think the Melorus squad comes out in preparation for our drop boys, because we are going to... It's going to force him to either take out the Melorus squad or leave them on and then get a better host of angels for next time. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what he does with this. But I like Sanguinius. I worked with Raldoran. I have a little more trouble with Raldoran. Yeah, see, he's going for the Sanguinius. And that's... Is he going to stealth his Jubak? Can he stealth his Jubak? No, he needs energy to... Yeah, so and then once again, there's the host of angels just coming right out. Well... What do we think? Could actually, if I had any other card to play with the Balefire, I would play Balefire here, use Balefire to get rid of Jubak, and use this to get rid of that. But unfortunately, that is not going to be an option. So we're just going to get rid of the Jubak here, and once again go to the face. But it gives him so much to deal with. It gives him so much to deal with. He has to get rid of all these troops. In getting rid of all those troops, he doesn't actually get rid of them. He just gets rid of the drop pod. And the Salamanders, while they have lots of this scary stuff with the sacrifice, like he has to reveal a survivor. Yeah, see, now we have some better options. Look at this. Now we can... Let's see. How are we got to think about this very carefully. We can take out the front line there. Okay. I think this is right. Not a smart man. Take this out. And this is where I need the help, because I'm almost guaranteedly, in fact, missing something. Hit our civilian survivor. Hit that, which triggers the sacrifice. Just throws that over there. Trigger this, which throws that over there. Beautiful. And then toss out the Melorus squad. And we'll just go for his face with that. I don't know if that was right to go for the face. Maybe we should have left that on the board. Bad luck for him to pick that card of all things. Hernia is not doing him any good when he has... Yeah, he's already running a little bit low here. Gonna get the Bale's Fire up here. Oh, I was not paying attention. I thought I had 10 energy. What terrible thing have I done? What terrible thing have I done? I gotta take a look at health. And we do not want to hit him because we really do not want him to trigger his survivor. Unfortunately, Vulkan is a real bastard to deal with. Vulkan is... Oh, and he triggers the survivor anyway because we lose a... Yeah, so, okay, so there's his... That was clever of him. He had his survivor coming regardless. That is pretty clever. That is pretty clever. And he gets his... Look at all this health he gets. This is ridiculous. Look at that insane amount of health. You want to deal 5 damage with this, or... I think we do. And then we can Blade and Encarmine him next turn. And once again, we do not want him to be able to trigger that survivor if we can possibly avoid it. You got to do so much burst damage to him. You have to burst him like crazy in order to get that damage. Okay, but he used up too much energy there, I think. Yeah, really? Oh, I thought he was going to use that on himself. Interesting. All right, we managed to beat a Vulkan. Vulkan's a tricky boy usually. I don't know if that was 4 games or 5. We're gonna play one more. Is that 4 games or 5? Well, let's take a look at the battle log. We don't want this to run forever. Okay, that was 4 games, so we'll run one more game here against Corax, our winged buddy. So Unstoppable Warlord versus Unstoppable Warlord. That's all right. We run absolutely 0 frontline in this deck. This is not the kind of deck that runs frontline.
No mercy.
Right now, I'm actually not going to throw troops. I'm going to wait and see if I can get Melorus and Clonidas up at the same time, or Clonidas up at the same time. Note that we still have not seen a single Hermia. Not one single Hermia in this entire game. We've played 4 games. We have not drawn a single Hermia. I'm gonna laugh out loud if I look back and it turns out that stupid Hermia is not in my deck, but I swear it is in the deck. I swear it is. We'll get that Clonidas up. We will we'll escape vent this actually. We'll go ahead and kill off his boy. And we'll keep our stealthy Hermia, or our stealthy Melorus squad up to see how we're doing there. Space Marine bolters are really weird to me. Oh, with his cleave. What is this cleave nonsense? Look at that. Mechandrite gives him some cleave. Gross. Okay, well, I'll definitely take that free card draw. Don't mind if I do. And he pops open the Clonidas squad, which is A-okay with me. The question is, should we just go for straight damage here? We actually have a lot of options. We can get more Melorus on the board. We can just pressure him. We just pressure him. And we'll take his guy out, draw another card. Should have done that first. Always draw first. If you're gonna play draw cards, do them as the first thing in your turn, unless there's some other reason not to. This guy's also got 3,000 rank. That's pretty frightening. Oh, all right. So we're actually gonna get our Clonidas back, which I like. which I'm a-okay happy with. That is fine with me, and he's, I think, just realizing that that has happened. And we're gonna get him out with the Meller squad as well, so he's gonna come out with a little more oomph on his drop pod. Reasonable. Reasonable, reasonable. Well, we can still do it. Yeah, we'll do that. Fire that away, and let's see who the let's see who gets returned on. We get the Clonata squad back. Look at that. Beautiful. We'll do the Meller squad, and hopefully Clonatus in the future. And there's our first Hermia. Look at that. Our first Hermia comes out. It's a pretty card. Like little Warp Rift or Nebula or whatever that is up in the top. Okay, so he can get his stealth, he can heal us too, that's fine. Well, we don't have any random vehicles to be destroyed, so I'm not worried about that. Sanguinary Guard would be a nice way to just whack that, but we're not going to be able to whack it because we don't have any whackables. So we're gonna Hermia that out, and then we'll actually just take the Amicus here. I think getting that extra Amicus is quite good. This is one of the very rare times we're going to use Sanguinius' ability, because we have nothing else to do. We've got one energy, so we're going to take a look. And he's got a defense force in there. It's gross. All right, so we want to try to burn him down before that defense force comes out on the board and starts making our lives miserable. Okay, there's that. Sanguinary Guard seems like a waste. This may be a good turn for just a Blade and Carmine into a Clonata squad, which we can buff up a little bit. And we'll go ahead and... interesting. Interesting. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take that out with this. Take one of those out. Take this out. And take that out. Alright, so he's left, you know, this is the board state you're looking for, where you got drop pod troops on the board ready to land, and he has to. Of course, I keep also giving him the opportunity to do that, because I'm not used to playing against Corax. Which definitely does not help my life. Okay, so we're gonna knock this down with Sanguinary Guard. What's our backlash? 3 damage to adjacent units. Well, we like that. We're gonna knock this down with our Clonatus into our Sanguinary Guard. Or no? Well, yeah. It might be worth it to sack both of these so that he can't just. Oh no, but it's 1 damage. Okay, that's 1 damage. So we'll knock that down with Clonatus. We'll Sanguinary Guard this. And then I think we're going to stealth up our Sanguinary. Well, you know what? I don't think we're actually going to. The urge to stealth that is pretty strong, but if you put something else big out, Mortet Tiberel could take it out, which could be a useful thing to do. So we'll just take another look. And it's the same card. That's another thing. Sanguinius' friggin' ability gives you the chance to look at a random card you've already seen. Phenomenal. That's really useful. Oh great, he has another one. Okay, well, there's that. There's that. And we'll just, well, we can Crimson Spectre. Crimson Spectre doesn't seem great. Mortet will stop him from putting out anything else of large value, and will prevent the damage to the face. And we have so much removal now. Like, removal is not our issue. We have removal for days. We've got close to free hard removal. But what we need now is our host of angels, because we really need a lot of dudes on the board. Okay, so well, look at that. Asking ye shall receive. So Mortad goes ahead and does absolutely nothing for us. Host of angels is going to come out. We will hit Corax twice in the face with this, and then we'll hit him with a good old 8 damage Tiburel. That's pretty scary. 8 damage Tiburel is big money. Now he's thinking. Got 10 energy, still got a lot of options. But his defense force cannot do as much for him as it would otherwise be able to do. Oh, if he goes wide here, we're gonna be able to heal so much. Oh my god, we're gonna be able to heal so much. So much, and that's the end of the game. Well, GG to this gentleman. Played well. Go ahead and drop that. Heal ourselves up 8. In retrospect, that was kind of a BM move for me. I didn't mean to waste all this time with all the death rattles. But it is what it is. That is the end of Corax. Alright, so we see, other than Kharn, this deck took out a pretty wide selection of warlords and playstyles. Interesting. Might be good enough to take into ranked. So look for that after the new year. I'm going to take, I'll stream some more tomorrow, probably today, maybe do another one today. Definitely we'll play a little more tomorrow. And then we will start on our crusade in the new year to make our way all the way up to the very heights of ranked. God, guys are 5,000 ranked now. That's incredible. All the way up to the very heights of ranked. We will see what Sanguinius can do for us. So thanks very much for watching. As always, if you like the video, leave a like. Leave me a comment if you have any comments on the deck. I will go ahead and pop up this deck one more time so you can take a look at it. There's our deck. If you have any comments, anything that you would like to talk about on my deck composition, things to add, things to remove, what do you think of Parada veterans? Should they stay? Should they go? That's about all I got for you right now. Take care. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a happy new year.